Here we are, last talk of the month, honoring the divine feminine and all. And so this month I went with the seed, soil, and plant analogy for the divine feminine, since it is that aspect of all of us, right? That we hold the seed, we hold the idea until it births itself, whether that is new life or new thoughts, a new business, whatever. We know the divine creative process is the interaction of the divine masculine energy, the divine feminine energy, and then the result, the manifestation, what it produces. And so all month long, we've been talking about that divine creative process. We talked about tilling the soil. We talked about preparing the mind, expanding our thoughts to what's possible. And then after the soil is fertile and prepared and ready to receive, we plant that seed of thought into it, what we would manifest in the physical world. And last week, what did we do? We checked out those sprouts, right? We pulled we pulled up the weeds of false thinking, those false thoughts that had to go. So today we're talking about growing a life, growing the life that we planted, the intentions that we set. We are now beginning to manifest. The weeds of previous thinking or wrong thinking have been removed, and we're beginning to see the results of our commitment to changing our thinking and changing our life. And it doesn't stop there, does it? You know, the teaching symbol, if you remember what it looks like, that big circle with the V in it, if you remember the teaching symbol and the V on the right-hand side of the V, that little hook at the end of the V, that tells us that that divine creative process continues. It never ends. It is forever outpicturing. It is forever changing. It is forever growing us. And Ernest Holmes in Love and Law said this. He said, the same mind that is in us is in the universe. The same mind, no difference. Now then, we reflect into this universal mind what we think. Practically the whole human race is hypnotized because it thinks what somebody else told it to think. Now, it's true, right? I mean, there's a lot of reality in that quote. And actually, a perfect example of that is going on all around us right now, right? Be afraid, be very afraid. Every time you turn on the news, it's telling you to be frightened because that big bad virus is coming to get you. Well, you know, there's a saying about don't tell God how big your storm is, tell the storm how big your God is, right? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying to just, go wild and disregard the cautions or all the precautions that we're taking. I'm not saying ignore it or don't take it seriously, or I'm not saying any of that. Be safe, be careful, be aware, do all of those things that we're supposed to be doing without being afraid. Fear itself lowers our immune system. Do the things you know to do. Do the things we've been told to do. Do them fearlessly. Do them fearlessly. Do them in strength, in power, in knowing that God is our source and supply. Right? When you think about what Ernest Holmes said, practically the whole human race is hypnotized because it thinks what someone else is telling it to think. All right? Our families told us what to think. The government tells us what to think. The news programs tell us what to think. Our bosses, our significant others, everybody else is telling us what to think all the time. But all of that human race consciousness, all the facts, all the figures, all the fears, all the time, cannot overwhelm God. Cannot overwhelm God. There is a voice of truth within us. There is that still small voice. And when we get quiet, when we give it time, when we go within, we can hear it. It always speaks truth to us. We are in relationship to the divine within, and the all in all. We are immersed in spirit, and spirit is within us. It is all wisdom. It is all presence. It is all power. It is everywhere at once. That is our safety and security. That is our refuge. We go to source, and we're always guided. So growing a life means growing in this way as well. Growing in that trust, growing in that surety that inner voice is speaking truth to us. So really, growing a life means growing ourselves, doesn't it? Growing our trust, growing our faith, growing our strength in spirit as spiritual beings. And Ernest Holmes said this. He said, our consciousness expands through meditation and contemplation, through conscious communion with the invisible, and through our intuition, which is the voice of spirit in us. Spiritual experience comes in the stillness of the soul, when the outer voice is quiet. It is the quickening of the human to the eternal reality. In moments of real inspiration, we realize, to a degree at least, that God is all, the life in everything, and the love through everything. This is the truth of us. We are spirit, 100%, right down to the physical bodies of us, right down to the atoms and the molecules and the organs and organ systems of our body. They are pure spirit. They are energy performing their tasks. We are 100% spirit, and when we surrender to that truth, to that power and that presence, we can grow a life bigger, grander, more expressive, more authentic, more loving than anything previously known to us. So in addition to meditating and doing our prayer work, our affirmative prayers, what other ways can we grow our life? Well, I did some research, and of course I found really, really good tips on the internet, you know. The ones I'm going to share with you, these came from an article that was published online in January. Yeah, January. 10 ways to change your life for the better in 2020. And now this is why you don't listen to other people. Anyway, okay, here goes. One of the tips was travel. Get out more. Go to places you haven't been. Yeah, that one did not age well. But there are some other ones. There are some good ones. All right, eat good food, right? More fruits, more vegetables, less processed foods. What was it? Oh, gosh, I can't remember his name. Oh, no, Michael Pollan, right? Eat enough, not too much, mostly plants. Great advice. Get rest. Your body needs sleep. You know how much sleep your body needs to wake up rested. Some of us need 8, some need 9, some need 8.5, whatever it is. Get your rest so your body can work at peak efficiency. Drink plenty of water. Drink plenty of water. Get plenty of sunshine because, you know, basically we're really just houseplants with complex emotions. So growing a life is very much like growing a plant. We do need similar things. You know, what do they say? They've always made experiments, didn't they? They played great music for plants, and plants grow really nicely. We're the same way. We need good music. We need good art. We need good friendships. We need good conversation. We need to declutter our lives, just like pulling weeds from the garden. Get rid of all your excess stuff you don't need or you don't use anymore. Give stuff away. Reach out. Reach out. Write cards. Send cards through the snail mail. I know. Nobody uses snail mail anymore. But you know what? Don't you get excited when you receive snail mail? It's true of us, right? When we go to the mailbox and there's a bill and there's an advertisement or something, but then there's a personal note in there. So that always excites us, right? So do that. Get your little note cards out and write somebody a card, a handwritten note, appreciation for that person. Mail it. Put a smiley sticker on it. It'll make someone's day. Write a love letter to yourself. Write a love letter to yourself telling yourself how wonderful you are. Include all of your good qualities. Show real, genuine appreciation for yourself, for your life, for your talents, for your humor, for anything, all the good qualities that you are. And then read it to yourself every morning. Just read it to yourself out loud every morning. You know, give that TED Talk. I love this one. Give that TED Talk you've always wanted to give. You know you have one in you, right? You're an expert at something. So give that TED Talk and deliver it in front of your pets, right? You know, you just have to do it with enthusiasm and joy. Think of your life as a labyrinth. I love this one. Think of your life as a labyrinth. You know, the interesting thing about a labyrinth is they're not mazes. Mazes have dead ends, and you can get lost in them, and they have wrong turns. Labyrinths are different. Well, labyrinths have none of that. There are no wrong turns in a labyrinth, right? They wind around, they go this way, they go that. They take the scenic route sometime. They take you way far out to the edge. Sometimes they come really, really close to the middle, and then they turn out again, only to go out wide one more time. But eventually, when you keep going in a labyrinth, you come to the center. You come to the heart, don't you? Because that's the way it is. That's why labyrinth is our life, right? And then we get to the center of the labyrinth and we sit in the silence and we await that still small voice. Ernest Holmes said this in what was originally The Anatomy of Healing Prayer, and then you can find it in the book Light on page 20. He said, "Very frequently I sit down all alone for 2 hours and listen to the silence until it speaks. And I look into the darkness and it turns light. It is there, and there is no question about it. God is warmth. Spirit is colorful. The universe is filled with light. A voice speaks from everything: running brooks, stones and trees, animals, the moon and stars, deserts and stillness. And you can listen to the stillness until it speaks to you." We have the time now. Sit in the stillness until it speaks to you, until it speaks of the wonders of life, until it speaks of the wonder of your life. To grow a life is very much like to grow a plant. We have to make sure we have the best conditions for growth: good soil, good sunlight, good nutrients. And then we send out new shoots. We try new things. If you've never painted before, now you have time. Paint something, right? There's no such thing as a bad painting. Every painting is just an interpretation of something. So every painting is a masterpiece, right? Acknowledge the little things in your life right now. You know, each new thing, each new thought is a new blossom, is a new leaf. Even your journal entry is a cause for celebration. Celebrate your growth right now. Every thought, every step, every new idea, every new experience grows us. And we can continue to grow right here, right now, right where we are, even though we're hunkered down at home, right? We can grow where we're planted. Right now, this is our time to do that. Right here, right now, wherever you're sitting, bloom where you're planted. Thank you very much.